Marcus Chen had always prided himself on being observant. As a xenoanthropologist stationed on the diplomatic hub of Kepler 442b, he'd spent 5 years studying the behavioral patterns of 17 different alien species. Yet somehow he'd completely missed the signs that someone, or something, had been regularly breaking into his apartment. The first clue should have been the arrangement of his books. Marcus was particular about his collection, organizing them by author and publication date. But lately, certain volumes kept appearing on his nightstand. The Art of Human Courtship, Earth's Mating Rituals Through History, and most bizarrely, A Beginner's Guide to Confessing Your Feelings. He'd chalked it up to absent-mindedness after long shifts at the Xenocultural Exchange Center. Then came the food. His refrigerator, typically stocked with meal replacement bars and instant noodles, began mysteriously filling with elaborately prepared dishes. Teriyaki salmon, perfectly seasoned rice, and vegetable arrangements that looked like they belonged in a 5-star restaurant. Marcus lived alone, and the apartment's AI security system showed no unauthorized entries. It wasn't until the 3rd month that he finally caught her. Marcus had returned home early from a canceled symposium, quietly opening his door to find a figure in his kitchen. She stood with her back to him, humming softly while arranging what appeared to be handmade dumplings on a plate. What struck him immediately wasn't the break-in itself, but her appearance, russet red hair that cascaded down to her waist, and 9, he counted twice to be sure, 9 bushy foxtails swaying gently behind her. Marcus managed, his xenoanthropological training momentarily abandoning him. Hello? The woman spun around and Marcus found himself staring into golden vulpine eyes. Her features were delicate and decidedly fox-like, a small nose, high cheekbones, and slightly pointed ears that twitched at the sound of his voice. She wore what appeared to be a flowing kimono-style dress that shimmered between red and white. Marcus-sama, she exclaimed, her cheeks flushing. You're home early. This is my apartment, he said, recovering his composure. And you are? Yuki, she said, performing a deep bow. Of the Kitsune delegation. We arrived on station 3 months ago. Marcus's mind raced through his xenological databases. The Kitsune, fox-like beings from a distant system who'd only recently made first contact with the Galactic Union. Known for their technological prowess, long lifespans, and... He tried to recall the cultural briefings he'd skimmed. You've been breaking into my apartment for 3 months? Yuki's tails drooped slightly. Breaking in is such a harsh term. I've been courting you. Courting? Yes. Her tails perked up again. According to my research on human customs, a potential mate demonstrates their value by providing sustenance and intellectual companionship.
Have you not enjoyed the meals?
I selected the books very carefully based on your browsing history. Marcus felt heat rising to his face. My browsing history? Your public library records, Yuki clarified quickly. I would never invade your privacy inappropriately. That would violate courtship protocol. But breaking into my apartment doesn't? Yuki tilted her head, genuinely confused. How else would I demonstrate my domestic capabilities? Among my people, a suitor must prove they can maintain a household and provide comfort. I've been showing you that I can care for you, anticipate your needs, and... She gestured proudly to the dumplings. Master your cultural cuisine. Marcus pinched the bridge of his nose. This was, without question, the strangest situation he'd encountered in his entire career. Yuki, on Earth, among humans, this would be considered problematic. We don't just enter each other's homes without permission. Her ears flattened against her head. Oh, the cultural database said humans appreciate initiative and grand romantic gestures. From people they're already in relationships with, Marcus explained gently. We usually start with, talking, coffee, actual dates. Dates? Yuki's expression brightened. Like the courtship rituals described in Chapter 7 of Human Romance, a comprehensive guide. Despite the absurdity of the situation, Marcus couldn't help but smile. Did you really read all those books? Every word, Yuki said earnestly. I've been preparing for 3 months. But human courtship is very complicated. There are so many contradictions. Some sources say to be direct, others say to be mysterious. Some say bring flowers, others say cook food. I thought doing everything would be safest. Marcus looked at this bizarre, earnest alien woman who'd been secretly caring for him, studying human culture with the dedication of a doctoral student, all because... Why me? Yuki's golden eyes met his. You smiled at me, On my first day at the cultural center, I was lost and overwhelmed. Everyone else ignored me or stared at my tails. But you smiled, asked if I needed help, and spent your lunch break showing me around. You treated me like a person, not a curiosity. Something in Marcus's chest tightened. He remembered that day. A nervous kitsune woman clutching a datapad, looking utterly out of place among the bustling crowds of the diplomatic hub. "That's it?" he asked softly. "One smile?" "You showed me kindness when I was alone in a strange place," Yuki said. "Among my people, such gestures reveal true character. I knew then that I wanted to know you better. That perhaps," her tail swished nervously, "you could be my mate." Marcus had spent years studying how different species formed bonds, how they communicated affection, how cultural misunderstandings could create both comedy and tragedy. Here stood living proof of every lecture he'd ever given about the importance of clear communication across species. "Yuki," he said carefully, "I appreciate everything you've done, truly. But we need to establish some boundaries. No more breaking in." Her ears drooped. "However," Marcus continued, "I would like to get to know you properly. Would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow? With you actually invited this time?" Yuki's face lit up like a supernova. All 9 tails began swishing excitedly. "A proper human date?" "A proper human date," Marcus confirmed. "We'll start from the beginning. Do things right." As Yuki left through the front door, with a formal invitation to return the next evening, Marcus couldn't help but laugh. He'd studied countless species, written papers on interspecies relations, and given lectures on cultural exchange. But he'd never expected to be on the receiving end of the galaxy's most unusual courtship. His datapad chimed with a message. "Thank you, Marcus-sama. I promise to use the door from now on. Also, the dumplings will get cold if you don't eat them soon. I made them with love." Marcus looked at the carefully arranged plate on his counter, then at his reflection in the kitchen window, where he was definitely, absolutely, undeniably smiling. Maybe, he thought, human-alien relations were about to get a lot more interesting.